Good morning. It is Thursday, September 10th. It's one of my last days in the cottage, and so I want to see how many words I can write. Cue intro. Do do do. Wallissimo. The original plan was actually to leave on the 2-day road trip back to Texas this morning, but we decided to stay for a few extra days, and I'm very grateful for that because the story that I'm currently writing, this book is for October, the main character lives in, and many of the scenes take place in, a cottage very much inspired by this one. The room I'm sitting in right now is the template for the room where most of the emotional beats of the story occur. And since for most of the summer there's been a lot of family in this cottage, this room has been really busy or kind of messy, and it just hasn't been the most conducive environment for writing. I've gotten some good days, but there hasn't been a day where it's been chilly and drizzly and empty in the cottage, and that was the sort of day I was really hoping for all summer. Now that we are well into September and the cottage has emptied out, the weather has cooperated, the stars have aligned, it's the perfect day to write. I am getting a little bit of a late start, admittedly. I had to do 3 hours worth of studying for my master's this morning. I don't know if this is relevant, but I normally don't study on Thursdays or Fridays, but since we were originally going to be doing our road trip on Thursday and Friday, but now we're doing it on Saturday and Sunday, I need to study today and tomorrow in order to make up for the time that I'm going to be missing during the road trip. I just feel like I needed to mention that because I laid out my whole September schedule in my previous video. If you had watched that video and then were watching this and were confused for any reason, that was my general explanation of what's going on. And then after I studied, I took a very long shower because it is so cold in this cottage, hence why my hair is wet. It's 11:45. I think I'm gonna take the next 15 minutes to just get my space set up. I'm very curious to see how many words I can get today. It definitely won't be worldwide write-a-thon level of words for multiple reasons. First, I don't see myself sprinting today. I much prefer to marathon. Also, I will not be staying up super duper late like I did with the write-a-thon. It's Thursday night, which means it's Critical Role tonight, and I will be watching that. So I think I'm going to write until... When does Critical Role start for me? I'm on the East Coast and it starts at 10. So I think I'm gonna try and get in as many words as possible up until 9:50 p.m. and that will be that. I'm really hoping to have a solid writing day today. I've kind of let it go by the wayside because I've spent a lot of time this week doing research for an NaNoWriMo story, which I really enjoyed. And also I spent a lot of time this week studying because I had an exam in my public economics class yesterday. But enough jib jab, it's time to get productive. It is just now a little bit past 2 o'clock, and according to Scrivener, I have written just over 1,000 words. Technically, I've written more than that. My guess is I've written about 1,500 words because right when I started, I deleted big paragraphs, and I would guess that those were about 500 words. So I started the day with a negative 500 count, roughly, I think. But 1,000 in 2 hours isn't too bad, and if I keep going for the next 8-ish hours, then theoretically I'll get another 4,000 words. Probably not going to be able to keep up the momentum for that long, but we'll see. But other than just getting a solid amount of words in, something else happened that I'm excited about. I finished a section, or a chapter, if you will. This story is a little bit like weirdly formatted in that I don't have traditional chapters. I'm breaking up the beats via the days. This takes place within the week before Halloween and Halloween itself. So each, chapter, quote unquote chapter, takes place over a single day. And when I say it's weirdly formatted, what I mean is that the lengths of the sections are very disjointed. The first chapter takes place over maybe 10 pages, and then this last chapter, 6 days before Halloween, took up 30 pages. Could each section be broken up into smaller chapters? Probably. Also, I'm sure it's hard to tell, but it is so cold, it is so chilly. I think it's time for a fire. It's thinking about it. The fire's trying to get started. I made myself a bowl of jambalaya. It's just about 5 p.m. and I'm taking a slight break. I used up all the wood in my fire, so I need to go get more wood, but I wanted to come down to the water first to just letting my brain be a little refreshed. I debated going on a walk, but I'm too lazy. It's crazy to me how still the lake is. As soon as September hit, this area was just like, boom, it's fall now. I have about 2,500 words, which means my pace has definitely dropped from that first hour. I did take a pretty significant break because I got distracted on YouTube by videos about the Princess Bride. So anyway, time to get more wood. If you watched my video where I did research for this story for the whole day, that information is finally becoming relevant. I have finally arrived to a scene where I can use this information, and thus that day doesn't feel like a total waste, so that's good. So interesting because time is passing, I swear, but because of the gray clouds, it's not clear at all that it is now evening. It's about 7:30. I hit kind of a struggle bus point at 6:20. I don't really know how, but I sort of made my way through it without even taking a break. I am at, let's see, what's my word count? Just about 3,700 words, so that's exciting. I've way surpassed my daily needed goal, and my hope is to get at least twice my daily goal. Well, really, I would have loved to have gotten 3 times my daily goal because that way I could have felt like I didn't need to write on my road trip, but as it is, I was thinking it might be interesting to like make a video about what it's like to write on a long road trip. The only caveat is that my computer is very old and can't hold power for more than like an hour. Although it won't be connected to internet in the car, so maybe it will last a little longer then. But yeah, it's 7:29. I've had this fire going since like 2. This is a 5-hour fire, you guys. I'm pretty impressed with myself. I smell very smoky though, so.
Archway, and you see a sign, a large curtain with some Costco.
Hello, it is now Friday, which means my big day of writing is over. For the rest of today, I am going to be closing up the cottage, packing up the car because I am driving back to Texas very, very early tomorrow morning. But before I sign off and do all of that, I want to break down how yesterday went for me. I wrote from about 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. But within that chunk of time, I would say I took about 2 hours worth of intentional breaks. And then I would say another hour was spent dedicated to filming or setting up specific shots. In total, I think I had about 10 hours yesterday where I was actually physically writing. And this is something I find actually kind of interesting because if I calculate out how many hours I wrote during the sprints of the Worldwide Writing-thon a few weeks ago, that also comes out to about 10 hours. In the Worldwide Write-a-thon, I got over 10,000 words, and yesterday, in just about the same amount of time, I got 6,432 words. I probably wrote about 7,000 words, but like I mentioned earlier, I had deleted some paragraphs right at the start, and so I was starting with a negative number. So it is interesting that I get over 3,000 words more in the same amount of time doing sprints. However, I have to give a big caveat because the Worldwide Write-a-thon was such a special case. I don't normally do 10 hours worth of sprints over the course of 24 hours. And I also stayed up really late for that, and it was an event and there was excitement, and so that could have been pushing me. And of course, when I got close to 10,000, I had to reach for that goal. So that motivation is another factor to consider. I am really, really thrilled with the amount of words that I got. I ended up getting over triple my daily goal, which is what I kind of thought would be a pipe dream about halfway through it yesterday. I thought I was only gonna double my daily goal, but I tripled it. And this is the best part. At the start of September, I only needed to write about 1,200 words a day to finish This Book Is for October. But then because I had an exam and I was researching for my nano story, kind of let it go to the wayside for a few days. And then my daily word count goal, at least the goal that Scribner calculated, shot up a ton. It was almost 2,000 words a day needed. Because of my huge writing push yesterday, it's now back down to about 1,400 words a day. And so I'm hoping once I get home next week and it's a little bit of a lighter work week for school, that I can really focus in again on this story and bring that daily word count needed down again. So that way it's just not so daunting to have to sit down every day and think, oh, I have to write almost 2,000 words in this, plus doing schoolwork, plus doing research for other stories. But overall, I'm really, really glad that I pushed myself to do a dedicated writing day yesterday. I don't think I have burnout at all. I wrote a little bit this morning and was feeling good, but then I had to kind of set the story aside because I need to close down the cottage. I'm especially glad that I got one good last day in that room that I said is such a huge inspiration to me. I think having this writing day was really, really critical, and I'm glad that I allowed myself the time to do it. That's it for me. The next time I see you, I will be in Texas, unless I decide to film myself riding on the road trip. But either way, for the most part, I'll be in Texas. Let me know down in the comments what your preferred riding style is. Are you a sprinter or are you a marathoner? And let me know if there is a place that you love to write because it inspires you. I'm gonna go pack now and say goodbye to the lake. Have a lovely rest of your day and go write. On purpose breaks. One good breeze will kill ya. Holy crap. So bad. How do I make that not happen again? Is my question. How did I have this steady before? I mean, obviously I didn't.